What if I told you Hollywood's biggest disasters aren't the movies you love to hate? They are the ones that burned nine-figure holes in studio balance sheets. Forget critical pans. We are talking about pure financial carnage. From 2000 to 2026, 1 year stands above all as the bloodbath champion. 2012 was the worst year. Let's count down the top 26 biggest box office bombs every year since 2000. Number 1, Titan AE, 2000. The year 2000 started with a bang. A bad bang. Titan AE was a $90 million sci-fi animated film from Fox. Don Bluth directed it. Matt Damon and Drew Barrymore voiced the leads. The story followed a young man who carries the secret to restarting Earth. Cool premise, right? The film earned only $36.8 million worldwide. Loss: $170 million. What destroyed Titan AE? Fox marketed it as a kids' movie. But the animation was too dark. The characters smoked cigarettes. The villain was a tentacle monster that dissolved planets. Parents stayed away. Teenagers thought it looked like a Saturday morning cartoon. The film also had terrible timing. It opened the same week as Dinosaur and Mission Impossible 2. Titan AE got crushed. Fox shut down their entire traditional animation department after this bomb. Don Bluth never made another theatrical film. The movie had a fantastic soundtrack by Creed and Lit. That did not save it. Titan AE is now a cult classic, but in 2000 it was a $170 million funeral. This bomb proved that sci-fi animation needed either Disney songs or Pixar heart. Titan AE had neither. Number 2, The Lone Ranger, 2013. Armie Hammer, Johnny Depp in face paint. A $250 million budget. And a train wreck finale that lasts 20 minutes. The Lone Ranger should have been a slam dunk. Disney had just tasted gold with Pirates of the Caribbean, so they let the same producer and star run wild again. But audiences said no. The movie earned only $240 million worldwide. The loss? Another $240 million. That is not a typo. The Lone Ranger lost its entire production budget. Why did it fail? Depp's Tonto felt disrespectful. The runtime was 2.5 hours of nothing, and nobody asked for a Lone Ranger reboot in 2013. The film became a punchline overnight. Disney took $1 billion bath between this and John Carter. 2 years. 2 bombs. The Lone Ranger proved that throwing money at Depp and a weird hat does not guarantee success. It guaranteed a write-down. Number 3, The Marvels, 2023. Oz Marvel's first real bomb. The Marvels connected Captain Marvel to Ms. Marvel to Monica Rambeau. 3 heroes, 1 short runtime, and a budget that swelled past $270 million after pandemic delays. The movie opened to just $47 million domestically. That is lower than Morbius, lower than The Flash. Worldwide gross limped to $206 million. Subtract expenses and the loss hit $237 million. How did the mighty fall? Superhero fatigue is real. The Disney Plus shows became homework. Casual fans refused to watch a sequel that required streaming catch-up. Plus, lead Brie Larson became a culture war lightning rod. The Marvels did everything right on paper. Action, diversity, intergalactic stakes. But audiences stayed home. For the first time ever, a Marvel movie lost serious money. Kevin Feige finally blinked. This bomb signaled the end of the MCU's invincible era. 2023 hurt, but 2012 hurt worse. Wait for it. Number 4, Mortal Engines, 2018. Peter Jackson produced it. Christian Rivers directed it. Universal spent $150 million on moving cities on tank treads. Mortal Engines had everything. Giant predator towns, a young heroine with a dark past, and 0 audience interest. The film earned just $83.7 million worldwide. Loss: $204 million. That is almost double the production budget. How? Marketing costs and international distribution fees. The concept was too weird for general audiences. Moving cities eating smaller cities? It sounded like a video game cutscene. The characters were forgettable. The dialogue was stiff. And young adult dystopian movies had died years earlier with the Divergent series. On mortal engines arrived 5 years too late. It also had no star power. Nobody showed up. Peter Jackson's name used to mean box office gold. Not anymore. This bomb proved that world building without heart equals financial ruin. Number 5, Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas, 2003. DreamWorks Animation almost died for this movie. Sinbad featured Brad Pitt as the voice of the rogue sailor, Michelle Pfeiffer as heiress. A $60 million budget, which was huge for 2003. The film earned only $80.8 million worldwide, but the loss hit $199 million. How? Marketing and home video returns could not save it. The real problem was competition. Finding Nemo ate Sinbad alive. The same weekend, families chose clownfish over pirates. Also, Sinbad came out 2 years after Shrek. Audiences expected smart fairy tale parodies. Instead, they got a serious adventure with zero jokes. Brad Pitt's voice acting felt phoned in. The animation was gorgeous, but the story was hollow. DreamWorks lost so much money that they almost shut down their traditional animation unit. This bomb killed hand-drawn dreams at that studio. Sinbad sailed straight into the iceberg, and it took years for DreamWorks to recover. Number 6, Battleship, 2012. Here is the second bomb of 2012. The worst year continues. Battleship was a movie based on a board game. Not a clever board game like Clue. A game where you guess coordinates. Universal spent $220 million to turn plastic pegs into a naval alien invasion. The cast included Taylor Kitsch, again, and Rihanna. The film earned $303 million worldwide, which sounds decent, but the loss was $199 million, because the budget exploded. Its marketing added another $100 million, and the studio only kept a fraction of international gross. Battleship had no sense of humor about itself. It played the alien threat completely straight. Audiences laughed at it, not with it. The infamous scene where old veterans reactivate the USS Missouri became a meme. This movie killed Taylor Kitsch's leading man career twice in 1 year. He also starred in John Carter. 2012 truly was the worst year. 2 bombs. 1 actor? 0 survivors. Number 7, Strange World, 2023. Disney's strangest failure. Strange World cost $180 million to make. It featured a gay lead character, a 3-legged dog, and a world inside a giant turtle. The film earned just $73.6 million worldwide. Loss, $197 million. Why did families reject it? Marketing was almost non-existent, and Disney dumped the trailer quietly. Then they released the movie the same weekend as Black Panther, Wakanda Forever's second week. Strange World also suffered from culture war backlash. Conservative groups boycotted the gay romance. Liberal groups said Disney didn't promote it enough. The movie pleased nobody. The story was convoluted. The characters were bland. Even the animation looked like a generic Disney Plus show. Strange World became the lowest-grossing Disney animated film since The Black Cauldron in 1985. That is not hyperbole. This bomb forced Disney to rethink their entire original animation strategy. No more weird worlds. Only sequels and remakes from now on. Number 8, Pan, 2015. A Peter Pan origin story, with Hugh Jackman as Blackbeard and a budget of $150 million. Pan tried to be a magical spectacle. Instead, it became a laughingstock. The movie earned just $128.4 million worldwide. Loss, $185 million. What went wrong? The casting of Rooney Mara as Tiger Lily sparked a huge controversy. She is white. Native Americans were rightfully angry. Then the movie had a Nirvana cover band scene. Yes Kids sing Smells Like Teen Spirit in Neverland. Audiences cringed so hard their spines cracked. Pan also had no clear target audience. Too dark for kids, too silly for adults. Warner Brothers released it in October, which is death for a family film. The studio lost so much money that they fired their entire marketing team. Pan sank faster than Captain Hook's ship. This bomb proved that dark reimaginings of beloved characters only work if you have a good script. Pan did not. Number 9. Tomorrowland, 2015. as Brad Bird directed The Incredibles and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Then he made Tomorrowland, a $190 million love letter to Walt Disney's optimistic future. The movie starred George Clooney. It had amazing special effects, and it earned only $209 million worldwide. Loss: $185 million. Why did a Brad Bird movie bomb? The script was a mess. The first hour is a boring teenage drama. Then Clooney shows up and yells about robot assassins. The villain is an idea, not a person. That works in a philosophy class, not a summer blockbuster. Tomorrowland also had a weird political message. It blamed humanity's apathy for the world's problems. Audiences went to see Mad Max Fury Road instead. The marketing hid all the confusing plot points. People expected a fun Disney ride. They got a 2-hour lecture. This bomb hurt Disney's live-action brand for years. Brad Bird hasn't made a live-action film since. Tomorrowland is proof that great directors can still deliver catastrophic failures. Number 10. The Polar Express, 2004. A Christmas movie that almost destroyed motion capture. Robert Zemeckis spent $165 million to put Tom Hanks in an uncanny valley nightmare. The Polar Express earned $310 million worldwide. That sounds like a hit, but after marketing and distribution, the loss hit $185 million. How? The budget was too big. The technology was too creepy. Audiences called it dead-eyed Tom Hanks. Children cried. Parents felt uncomfortable. The film also launched at a weird time, Thanksgiving weekend, but families preferred The Incredibles, which was still packing theaters. The Polar Express did find a second life on home video and IMAX, but that came too late for the theatrical balance sheet. Warner Brothers lost their shirts. Zemeckis doubled down on motion capture with Beowulf and A Christmas Carol. Each one lost more money. This bomb started a chain reaction of motion capture failures. The Polar Express is now a nostalgic classic, but in 2004, it was a financial car crash. Number 11. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, 2017. Guy Ritchie tried to make King Arthur into a Cockney gangster. The result was a $175 million disaster. King Arthur starred Charlie Hunnam. Jude Law played the villain. The movie had magic snakes, giant elephants, and dialogue that sounded like Snatch meets Excalibur. Audiences hated it. Worldwide gross limped to $148.7 million. The loss hit $183 million. Why did this bomb so hard? Warner Brothers released the first trailer 6 months before launch. It looked generic. Then they delayed the movie twice. That's never a good sign. The final cut made no sense. Arthur gets raised in a brothel. He learns to fight in street brawls. Then he discovers his sword powers in the last 20 minutes. The pacing was frantic. The editing was migraine-inducing. Guy Ritchie's signature fast cuts work for heist movies. They do not work for medieval legends. This bomb killed Warner Brothers' planned 6-movie Arthurian universe. Yes, they wanted 6 movies. They got 1. King Arthur also proved that Charlie Hunnam cannot open a blockbuster. He had already failed with Pacific Rim Uprising. This was the final nail. $183 million lost. All for a movie where a guy says, "I am Arthur, King of the Britons," in a pub. At number 12, John Carter, 2012. A $250 million sci-fi epic based on a century-old novel. What could go wrong? Everything. Disney marketed this film so poorly that most people thought it was a biopic about a doctor. The trailers were confusing. The title revealed nothing. And the budget ballooned faster than a Mars balloon. John Carter earned only $284 million worldwide. But thanks to marketing costs and theater splits, the real loss hit $255 million. This wasn't just a bomb. It was a nuclear detonation at Disney. The studio wrote off the entire production as a tax loss. Director Andrew Stanton returned to Pixar with his tail between his legs. The movie even failed in China, where audiences love big explosions. So why is 2012 the worst year? Because this disaster is only the beginning. John Carter single-handedly made Hollywood rethink every sci-fi green light. A pioneer of pain. Number 13, Turning Red, 2022. Pixar's first direct-to-streaming bomb. Turning Red cost $175 million to produce, but Disney dumped it on Disney Plus without a theatrical release in most countries. The limited theatrical run earned just $19.8 million. Loss: $167 million. Why is this a bomb? Because Pixar expected a billion-dollar franchise. The movie followed a 13-year-old Chinese-Canadian girl who turns into a giant red panda when she gets excited. Critics loved it. Audiences on streaming liked it. But the financial model collapsed. Disney used Turning Red as a sacrifice to boost Disney Plus subscriptions. They did not care about box office, except they did care when the losses appeared on balance sheets. Us animation veterans were furious. The film's director Domee Shi won an Oscar for her short bow. She deserved a theatrical release. Instead, families watched Turning Red on their couches. This bomb changed Pixar forever. Disney realized they could save millions by skipping theaters, but they also realized they lost $167 million in potential revenue. Turning Red is a great movie. It is also a financial disaster created by corporate strategy. Number 14, Mulan, 2020. COVID killed Mulan, but Disney also killed Mulan themselves. The live-action remake cost $200 million to produce. The studio offered it on Disney Plus for a $30 premium access fee. Only a few countries got theatrical releases. Worldwide gross ended at $66.8 million. Loss: $159 million. Here is the controversy. Mulan was supposed to be a $1 billion movie, and the animated original was beloved. The live-action version removed all the songs. No I'll Make a Man Out of You. No reflection. That angered fans. Then star Liu Yifei supported Hong Kong police, which triggered boycotts. Disney refused to delay the movie again. They dumped it in September 2020 when most theaters were closed. The $30 price tag was too high for families. Many people waited for it to become free, which happened 6 months later. Mulan did not fail because of the pandemic alone. It failed because Disney got greedy and gutted the soul of the original. This bomb taught Hollywood that nostalgia without music and joy is just a costume. Mulan wore that costume to a funeral. Number 15. The Adventures of Pluto Nash, 2002. The king of all sci-fi comedies. In the worst way. Pluto Nash cost $100 million in 2002 dollars. As that is over $160 million today. Eddie Murphy played a nightclub owner on the moon. The movie had a robot sidekick, gangsters, and a $7.1 million worldwide gross. Loss: $156 million. This is one of the biggest percentage losses in history. Pluto Nash sat on the shelf for 2 years. Warner Brothers kept delaying it. That's always a red flag. When it finally released in August 2002, critics destroyed it. Roger Ebert said it was like a bad Saturday Night Live sketch that goes on for 95 minutes. The visual effects looked outdated. The jokes were flat. Eddie Murphy looked embarrassed in every scene. How did this bomb happen? Murphy signed a $20 million deal based on his Dr. Dolittle success. The script was written by a TV writer with no movie experience. The director had only made one film before. But number 16, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, 2001. The most beautiful bomb ever made. Final Fantasy cost $137 million. It used groundbreaking photorealistic CGI. The hair moved realistically. The skin had pores. But the story was incomprehensible. A dead planet. Ghost aliens. A scientist with a big gun. Fans of the video games hated it because it had nothing to do with Final Fantasy. General audiences had no idea what was happening. Worldwide gross: $85.1 million. Loss: $155 million. Square Pictures bet everything on this movie. They built a whole studio in Hawaii. They hired A-list actors like Alec Baldwin and Ming-Na Wen. The film opened in second place behind Jurassic Park 3. Then it fell off a cliff. Final Fantasy's problem was the uncanny valley. The characters looked almost human, but not quite. Their eyes were dead, or their movements were stiff. Audiences felt creeped out. This bomb bankrupted Square Pictures. Number 17, Dark Phoenix. 2019 Fox tried to end their X-Men series twice. The second time was Dark Phoenix. a $200 million movie that earned $252 million worldwide. Loss? $155 million. How does a $252 million gross lead to a loss? Simple. Marketing cost $100 million. Theater splits ate half the gross, and the budget bloated because of massive reshoots. Dark Phoenix was originally 2 movies. Then Disney bought Fox. The executives panicked. They forced director Simon Kinberg to cut the story into 1 film. The result was a mess. John Gray gets cosmic powers. She kills her friends. Then she says sorry. The villain is an alien played by Jessica Chastain, who has 0 personality. The action scenes looked like TV quality. Audiences had X-Men fatigue. Days of Future Past was amazing. Apocalypse was bad. Dark Phoenix was worse. This bomb killed the entire X-Men franchise at Fox. Number 18, Wonder Woman 1984 to 2020, the sequel to the beloved Wonder Woman. How did it lose $155 million? Easy. COVID and bad writing. Warner Brothers spent $200 million on Wonder Woman 1984. They released it on HBO Max the same day as theaters. Worldwide gross only hit $166.5 million. The film was also terrible. Critics hated it. Fans hated it. Pedro Pascal played a villain who wishes people would give him oil. Yes, that's the plot. A magic stone grants wishes. Steve Trevor comes back in a stranger's body. That's creepy, not romantic. Wonder Woman uses an invisible jet that we never see. The action scenes were slow and rubbery. The mall scene looked like a 1980s TV show. Gal Gadot did her best, but the script was nonsense. This bomb killed the chance for a 3rd Wonder Woman movie. Warner Brothers canceled the sequel. Patty Jenkins moved on to Star Wars, then lost that too. Number 19, A Wrinkle in Time, 2018. Ava DuVernay became the first Black woman to direct a $100 million live-action film. The result was A Wrinkle in Time, a $150 million adaptation of the beloved novel. The movie had Oprah Winfrey as a flying space lady, Reese Witherspoon as a talking vegetable, and Mindy Kaling as a pile of leaves. Worldwide gross, $133.2 million. Loss, $152 million. What went wrong? The visual effects looked cheap. The dialogue was full of self-help quotes. Be a warrior. Love is the only way. Oprah's character Mrs., which spoke in slow-motion whispers. Kids were bored. Parents were confused. As the movie changed the book's ending to a happy dance party, fans of the novel hated it. Disney marketed it as the next Black Panther. It was not. Number 20, The Flash, 2023. The Flash should have been a hit. It had Michael Keaton returning as Batman. It had a $220 million budget. It had rave test screening reactions. Then star Ezra Miller went crazy. Arrests, burglary charges, choking a fan. The Flash became radioactive. Warner Brothers could not delay the movie again. They released it in June 2023. Worldwide gross, $271.3 million. Loss, $150 million. The real tragedy? The movie is actually good. Critics praised it. Audiences who showed up liked it. But Miller's scandals kept everyone away. Families did not want to explain to their kids why The Flash was on the news for bad reasons. Plus, the CGI was famously terrible. The Speed Force scene had mannequin-like figures with dead eyes. It looked like a PS2 game. Warner Brothers had spent years developing this film. They fired directors. They rewrote scripts. Then the star self-destructed. The Flash bombed so hard that Warner Brothers canceled future solo movies for Ezra Miller. Number 21, Mars Needs Moms. 2011, the title alone was a warning. Mars Needs Moms cost $150 million. Robert Zemeckis again with motion capture. This time, the uncanny valley was a canyon. The movie followed a boy who travels to Mars to rescue his mom. The Martians are female and hate emotions. Yes, really, the film earned just $39 million worldwide. Loss, $145 million. Disney took a $145 million write-down. This bomb single-handedly killed motion capture animation at major studios. Why did it fail so hard? The title confused people. Is it a documentary? A comedy? The trailers made it look creepy. The boy's face had no soul. The mom's face looked like a wax figure. Audiences actively avoided it. Mars Needs Moms opened at number 7 behind Rango and The Lincoln Lawyer. That is embarrassing. The film also had no star power. The voices were unknown actors. Seth Green was the lead, but his face wasn't on the poster. Number 22. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. 2023 Harrison Ford returned one last time. At 80 years old, Disney spent $300 million to de-age him for the first 20 minutes. The rest of the movie was a chase scene through ancient Sicily. Worldwide gross, $384 million. That sounds like a hit. It is not. The loss hit $143 million. Why? The budget was astronomical. Marketing added $150 million. Disney only kept 40% of international gross. As Dial of Destiny had no Shia LaBeouf, no Sean Connery, no magic. Critics said it was fine. Audiences said it was boring. The 5-minute de-aged Ford looked amazing, but the plot was nonsense. Mads Mikkelsen played a Nazi scientist who wants to time travel to 1939. Why? To kill Hitler? The movie never explains. Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character was annoying, not charming. The final act turned into a time travel mess. Indiana Jones ended not with a bang, but a whimper. Number 23. How Do You Know? 2010. A romantic comedy with a $120 million budget. How? Reese Witherspoon, Owen Wilson, Paul Rudd, Jack Nicholson. That's $50 million in salaries alone. The movie earned just $48.7 million worldwide. Loss? $140 million. How Do You Know is the most expensive rom-com bomb in history. Or the plot. A softball player has to choose between a baseball star and a businessman under federal investigation. Not funny. The director James L. Brooks made terms of endearment and broadcast news. He lost his touch. The film had terrible test screenings. The studio delayed it twice. By the time it released in December 2010, audiences had forgotten it existed. Critics called it aggressively bland. Jack Nicholson phoned in his performance. He looked bored. Paul Rudd looked confused. The movie had no chemistry. How Do You Know bombed so hard that Sony Pictures fired their marketing head. This film proved that even A-list stars cannot save a bad script. Number 24. Flushed Away. 2006 DreamWorks and Aardman teamed up for a rat movie. Flushed Away cost $149 million. The stop-motion studio tried computer animation for the first time, and the result looked like plasticine. The story followed a posh rat who gets flushed into a sewer world. Hugh Jackman voiced the hero. Kate Winslet voiced a scavenger rat. The movie earned $109 million worldwide. Loss? $109 million. Wait, the loss equals the gross? Yes. Flushed Away was a critical success. It had witty British humor. It had a great villain voiced by Ian McKellen. But it opened against Casino Royale and Happy Feet. Families chose penguins and James Bond over sewer rats. The marketing was terrible. Posters showed a rat on a toilet. Kids said you. Adults said no. Aardman lost so much money that they ended their partnership with DreamWorks. Number 25 Stealth. 2005 Stealth is what happens when Top Gun marries a computer. A $135 million movie about AI fighter jets. Jamie Foxx starred. Jessica Biel wore shorts. And the robot plane goes rogue and starts killing people. Worldwide gross, $96 million. Loss, $96 million. The math hurts. Stealth bombed because audiences did not believe the premise. An AI plane that learns to feel? That's a drama, not an action film. The director Rob Cohen made The Fast and the Furious. He tried to put car energy into planes. It did not work. The CGI was fine. The acting was fine. The movie was boring. Stealth also suffered from terrible release date. July 2005. Same week as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Same month as War of the Worlds. Sony buried Stealth with no marketing support. Jamie Foxx had just won an Oscar for Ray. Number 26 Speed Racer. 2008. The Wachowskis made The Matrix. Then they made Speed Racer, a $120 million live-action anime adaptation. The movie looked like a bag of Skittles exploded on screen. Neon colors, racing cars that defy physics, A monkey named Chim Chim. Worldwide gross, $88 million. Loss, $88 million. Speed Racer was too weird for 2008. Critics hated it. Audiences did not understand it. The plot had corporate espionage, a fixed race, a young boy who wants to honor his dead brother. But the visuals were so overwhelming that nobody followed the story. The Wachowskis refused to test screen the film. They believed their vision was pure. Warner Brothers panicked and changed the release date 4 times. Speed Racer opened against Iron Man. Yes, Iron Man, the movie that started the MCU. Speed Racer got destroyed. Now it is a cult classic. Film loves it. But in 2008, it was an $88 million bomb. The Wachowskis never recovered financially. They made Jupiter Ascending next. That bombed too. Speed Racer is a beautiful failure. A kaleidoscope of ambition and bankruptcy. The final entry on our list. 2012 was still the worst year, but 2008 gave it a run.